I'm Sideshow, back with more over.gg coverage of MLG Vegas, and this time I'm with EnVy's INTERNETHULK, who have yet to play a game because of some unfortunate circumstances with Taimu. You want to talk us through a little bit about what happened there?
So apparently Taimu's ESTA wasn't approved. I don't know the details, but he had a flight booked where he would have been here in time to play the last match today on Friday against Complexity. But apparently it only got approved like 30 minutes after his flight left, so we had to rebook him a flight, and yeah, he's going to land like super late tonight. So, but yeah, fortunately MLG and Complexity both agreed to like reschedule our match to Saturday morning 10:30 am PST. So yeah, that's pretty much the situation.
What has that done for you guys in terms of preparing for the event, scrimming, that kind of stuff, getting yourselves in the mental and kind of gameplay side of it prepared for Vegas?
Actually, now the situation is like slightly better. Even it costs like a lot of, how do I say it? We're pretty nervous about if he can even make it in time. But now that he's coming and landing late, he'll actually get sleep before the match. So he will get to the hotel like late in the evening. Then he can sleep and rest, and then in the morning we have a match. While before it was like he would have landed like at 6 or something, and our match would have been at 7. So he would have come straight after a 20-hour flight, and we would have practiced. We would have had our match. In terms of practice, we couldn't practice team practice after OGN finals. Like we haven't had one single scrim afterwards, but that's just because like we had people going to the home countries because of like family issues and also like visa mainly, and yeah. So,
how do you guys feel after your win at Apex? People were ranking you as one of the best teams in the world, sometimes the best team in the world, and now you've come back to North America. You haven't had a chance to scrim, but you've had a chance to look at some of the games. How do you think the skill compares across regions?
I do think the composition and the way American teams approach the game might not be optimal. I definitely think Korean teams had a better approach to the game, also the meta. I feel like most American teams take like the lazy approach, just like 4 tanks, that's easy to play. Let's just play it instead of maybe implementing a Sombra, because they should have had like enough time to practice Sombra. Because I really anticipate Sombra becoming like the next big thing within like 3 weeks. Also Symmetra. I feel very confident. Although I have to say, 2 weeks of no team practice, even though we played as much individually as we could, definitely. Is something we have to overcome again. Like our first LAN event was Gamescom, and we couldn't practice for like 1 week straight before the event, and it showed, because like on 2CP we lost against Rogue super close, and we couldn't practice 2CP for a whole week. So I think in terms of just the way we play and we work as a team, I still think we're pretty confident that we take the whole thing. I'm not scared of any American team. So yeah, the only thing that could happen is just like other teams out-practice us because they went to bootcamp and stuff. So,
you recently brought Mickey into the lineup, and you guys had a bit of an issue and brought him in, and it was kind of a real out-of-the-park pick. I think it was Taimu who said on his stream at the time or something, it could make us look like geniuses, or it could make us look a bit stupid. Well, you certainly look like geniuses coming out of it, because you guys look fantastic. What's it been like integrating Mickey into the lineup?
So, first it was like this, during BlizzCon I was like reaching out to a few players. I thought like, you know, I have my own reasons why I want to reach out. I always wanted to keep networking and keep knowing, get to know other people, other players, and I don't really restrict people to certain areas. I don't think like only because people come from NA or Europe they're better, or Korean even. Like there was another guy who was like really good from Chinese Taipei. So yeah, Mickey was actually one of the only players I changed contacts with. I went up to him, I asked him for a Skype, which I had no idea that Tailspin was gonna leave, and it all worked out kind of like, I was like, oh shit, like I didn't even think of Mickey to replace any of our players. It was just like I wanted to keep in touch with him and see, you know, maybe in half a year how he's like developing and stuff. And yeah, suddenly my boss was calling me, oh, Tailspin is out, like, and I didn't even know. I was like in Germany, and I had to make a decision. And there were like different, you know, like when you lose a player and you're a top NA team, like there are different players. There are only a few players that you could bring to an OGN that are not actually already in the competition. And there are only a few players that are not contractually, you know, like binded to any other big org. So there were definitely like a few big names where people thought like, why didn't you bring in IDDQD or GOTS or like those names? But like, I mean, that's pretty much one of those things where I'm really confident about myself. Like I built this team like in the early beta stage, and I know exactly which players I want. And so when you say it could have made us look like geniuses or total idiots. It would have been on me, because like my boss, I told my boss, there's a Thai guy, I've seen him at BlizzCon, I know exactly, he plays like he talks a lot, he communicates a lot, he's a smart guy, he's super talented, he's really good already in the game, but he's going to be like way better, and he's a really happy person, and we need a happy person in the team as well. And my boss was like, all right, go for it. Like my boss gave me full trust, my team gave me full trust, and I'm obviously really happy in the end. And it's not just like for OGN, like, you know, he's here at Vegas and he's integrating to the team super good, so yeah.
It sounds like you have a real future planning approach to the way that you're building contacts and trying to think way ahead of when, you know, I haven't heard any other team leader or somebody building a team thinking that far ahead in terms of you are making contacts at BlizzCon to think about the future. Is that something you've always got in the back of your mind?
Yeah, I think like, I mean, I certainly watched and played StarCraft 2, League of Legends and many other games, and for me it was also like, let's say we would have lost Tailspin 1 or 2, 3 months earlier. I mean, back then I didn't know about the Thai scene or like Chinese, Taiwan, or like Asian scene in general, except for Korea. But I was already like thinking of Korean players. Like in terms, if something would have happened, I would have looked into a Korean player rather than like an American player. Because like I feel I played since the early beta stage, and it's really hard for American or European solo queue players to stand out right now. And I know a few people who stand out there, but they're not there in terms of like maybe working ethic or other stuff. And yeah, so I definitely always look ahead. Like even when we lost Twig and Mandukusai, my first instinct was like, okay, we lost Twig. I know what Twig plays. I know no European player is playing his role or can replace him. So I was looking into American player, and there was like Tailspin, who was like amazing at Pharah and really good at Tracer and other stuff. And he was like very versatile and very communicative, exactly what we needed to replace Twig, because that was Twig's role. He was also communicative, a good team player, played lots of projectile classes, and I was the only, I think, European player who would even look into American players. I feel like other team captains or maybe managers, coaches, I feel like maybe they don't put in enough effort to like think outside the box maybe.
You said there just in your previous answer that Mickey's a really happy guy and that you needed someone who was really happy in that team. And certainly in any interaction I've had with him and any time I've seen him on the stream, he does seem just to be purely happy. What's that like, and what did that bring to the team that was outside of his actual in-game performance?
I feel like Mickey's, for me, for example, everyone on the team is like different. So we have like Chips, for example, who's much more introvert than me. And Harry, for example. So having someone on the team who's not like with Tailspin, it was more like after training or after events, he would go, you know, he would maybe occasionally go out eating with us, and we all really liked him. Of course, he was a good friend, and I still consider him a friend, but he didn't really had many outside activities that he was doing with us. While with Mickey, it's like, he's cracking jokes, he makes us laugh. He also wants to network a lot, and he's also hanging around with us as a team outside of gaming. And I really feel this is like, you know, it always adds to team synergy, to like, you know, feel more like a team, like a family, like friends. And yeah, that's definitely cool.
Something that people have talked about with Mickey is the fact that he's played 100% Diva up to this point with your team. Yeah. But in the past, he was a DPS player, even before he played for Team Thailand, and there he was playing mostly Zarya in like an off-tank role. Yeah. So what do you think about the flexibility of your team moving forwards? Is this a case where he would be able to perform at this incredible elite level on a range of heroes, or is he just a specialist on Diva and will just be a good player on other things?
So I always consider like words are words and actions are actions, but from Mickey, I can only judge from words so far. But apart from that, like I really want people to know that before that he played many games, and he was, I think, a point blank world champion last year, which is like a hugely popular game in the Thai scene or even Russian scene, and he won that final and was even MVP as a sniper. I mean, I spoke with him. He says like, which also like underlines him as a team player. He says like, well, my team is like same with you guys. My team really supports me in a way that it's easy for me. It's easy for me to frag. I haven't seen his matches. I don't really know a lot about point blank. But what I do know is like, you're not just getting an MVP for free for like not being good. So he's definitely talented, and his flexibility is like, I think everyone on the team except him has proven himself. Like, we all play since 1 year. We've been consistently one of the best, if not the best team in Overwatch. So I think like I don't really need to, like, no one in the team needs to prove himself in terms of, like, you know, ability to learn. But I really think what he says, like, he really wants to learn stuff. And I think he might be even the most, how do you say, like, he really puts a lot of effort into learning. Also learning English. And I think I've seen his Widow. His Widow's already good. His Zarya is insane. Like, that's why I was happily willing. I still think I would be one of the best flex players in the world. But I think, like, if I see Mickey's tracking and stuff, if I can bring his team play, or if he brings his team play up to par, or, like, you know, like has the best shields, the best ultimates, and communicates with the team, then he's easily one of the best, if not the best Zarya in the world. It's like, his tracking is insane. I feel like his Zarya might be even better than his Diva, but people haven't seen it because just the meta doesn't allow it to us. And I think he can also easily become one of the best, like, hit skin players, but he just wants time. Like, he says, you know, give me 1 or 2 months and I'm going to learn it. But we don't require him to learn anything new right now. So yeah, I think it will be more about Harry and Taimo, because we really need a project head player and we want to stick as a team. So yeah, it will be on one of those guys too. Like, let's say learn Genji or Pharah, whatever is needed, if we need it. So
he originally just came in, or it was said that he originally came in just as a sub. He had a team back in Thailand, Sweet Time,
yeah.
And now you're talking about it as if this is going to be a long-term project with the 6 of you. So have you thought about the future long-term with this roster? Is that going to be a permanent switch for him after Vegas?
Yeah, nothing has been official yet, but obviously after winning OGN, and I mean, sure, every player is like just 1-6, but I mean, we gave Mickey a huge opportunity, but he also, you know, like, he took that opportunity, and he was a big part of us winning as well. So I think it's probably very likely that he's going to end up for us permanently. Everyone really likes him, enjoys playing with him. As I said, the most important thing is always, like, that someone on the team is a real team player, only cares about winning as a team, not like looking good as an individual, because, like, that's how you make the best career out of yourself as well. Like, you need to win and keep winning as a team. And he's certainly one of the best guys. Like, his mindset is just like, I want to win as a team, I don't care how I look. And yeah, like I said, he's willing to learn, and English, in-game, skill, new characters, everything. So yeah.
You talked there about you just want to win as a team. That's a key characteristic of a good player. You don't want to make yourself look good. Yeah. I think you kind of epitomized that, moving from Flex over to main Lucio for the team, in a sense. So what was that move like? When you brought him in, the whole team went under a bit of a shift. Harry Hug moved over to DPS. He fit into the Flex slot, and you went over to Lucio. So what was the thought process behind integrating him in that sense and swapping over the roles?
I was just looking into the, like, that's literally, I mean, I guess that's a true flex player, or true team player, in terms of, like, me looking into the best player we could possibly get that would fit perfectly into the team, and then, oh, he plays flex, I'm playing flex, so whatever, I can go Lucio, you know, like, I would have gone anything except, you know, DPS, because I wouldn't feel up to par to, like, the best aimers in the world, the best DPS, but I could have gone Reinhardt, I could have gone either support or flex. So for me, it was just like, let's try to find a player who's, like, who perfectly fits and makes the team the best. So yeah, that was pretty much.
How have you fit into that Lucio spot within the team? Is it a sense that you're now able to control the team and call more for them? Are you purely playing the support role and allowing other people to do that? What's the transition been for you?
I feel like since the beginning, I think far back in Beta Phase 1 or Beta Phase 2, I think I was calling most stuff, and then it got to a point where Harry, because he's Spanish and he has a lot of fire, a lot of drive behind him in-game, that he kind of overtook that role. And since then, it has always been, like, 6 people talking, 6 people setting up plays, or 5 most of the time, or 4. But, like, we have, like, 4 pretty vocal players, I guess. And it has never been me, which I could have. Like, as Winston, I was, like, mainly calling engages. So because I have teammates, which I appreciate that they're actually doing it, that we all communicate as a team and we don't have, like, one-shot caller, I'm not really bound, or, like, I'm not forced to switch to Lucio and be, like, the main caller, because, like, every team feels like they have to have, like, Lucio as main caller. I can still, like, call engages, but I also still need to improve on that, because it's, like, a different way of calling. I think I was, like, top tier on, like, target calling, engaging on the right target, and you know, consistently saying like Zaya, 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 when I jump a Zaya, and then like I can't jump this target, go to this target, like instant switches and stuff, and target calls and engages. While with Lucio, it's about like speed buffs, and I still have to learn a bit. I only had like, like maybe 1 or 2 weeks practice. But other than that, I feel like very confident in Lucio, and also the calling. I think, yeah, like I said, it's a team thing for us. So.
One of the things that people have talked about a little bit after your amazing run during the playoffs of Apex, because you had lost in the group stage to Lunatic High, and then it looked like when you had lost a player, it would be really difficult for you to get back up to that. And then this patch hit, and the patch seemed to fit almost perfectly with your team's strengths. You have Harry Hook, who's a ridiculously good Soldier 76. Mickey has come out and been possibly the world's best diva at this point. And the rest of your team have fit nicely into it. Coco's got a very safe Reinhardt style that seems to fit into it. So people were kind of creating this narrative that perhaps it was just kind of lucky that you stumbled into this patch and were able to win it. So what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like, yeah, sure. It definitely played into our hands, especially against Rogue, because Rogue in the other meta was already proven. I think they were the best team in the other meta, like playing Reaper and Mei. Or just, you know, nano boosting Reaper and stuff. But I mean, that's the way how most games work. There are patches, and people consider, yeah, there shouldn't be patches mid tournament, and I agree. On the other hand, I feel like if we would have gotten Mickey and switched Harry to, let's say, Reaper, because we only played like with time on Reaper, and our communication, like with Tailspin on team, our team spirit, or maybe we had a lot of like maybe small issues between Time and Tailspin, and in general we weren't like as happy. So bringing in Mickey was like an amazing Zarya in the old meta, and switching Harry to Reaper, who would have probably had better communication and with chips for nano boost than Time chips did, with an overall better atmosphere. I could actually see us being as good, because like Time plays McCree, he has really good aim. And he doesn't have a lot of practice on Mei, but I think if he would had like 1 week of practice with Mei, his right clicks would be insanely good. And I think he could easily be also one of the best Mei. So in that terms, we would have like one of the best Zaryas, because like I said, I think Mickey's Zarya is even better than his Diva. Harry Hook on Reaper is probably really, like, he is really good. I think like the communication would be better between him and Chips. And then again, like Taimu, if you consider like, if he would play, I've never really seen him play Mei a lot, but if he would do a good job playing Mei overall, I have no doubt that his like right-click accuracy would be really fucking good. So yeah.
Okay, let's bring it back to this current tournament that's going on right now. So you're gearing up to play Complexity tomorrow, and then you've got the rest of the group stage, and then the playoffs to follow if you make it to that point. Yeah. How do you feel about the group that you're in with Fnatic and Complexity and Rise Nation? And how do you feel about your chances of actually taking the whole thing? Because you are one of the favorites.
Yeah. I definitely think, like I said, I'm very confident that we're going to take the whole thing. About our group, at first I was pleasantly surprised. I thought like Group B would be stronger, but I heard from some teams that Complexity is actually really good right now, and they play a specific style that the other teams are not playing. So that's going to be, they also had like a 1 week boot camp or something prior to this event. So they're definitely practiced, they know what they're doing, and I think our group is probably harder than Group B, knowing that Complexity is doing really well. So Complexity, Fnatic are definitely teams to look out for, while I think Rise Nation is still a young team. So I still think on paper EnVy is going to be like the favorites in that matchup. So we have to see, but yeah, I think I'm very confident that we're going to take it, and I look forward to a final against Cloud9, hopefully.
Okay, well, good luck for the tournament. I hope you do well.
Okay, thanks.